Welcome to another episode of Sales Beast. We've got Christie Cannon here on the call with us, joining us from Texas. So Christie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Excited to be on.
We're super excited to be chatting with her today. Christie, can you just maybe give us a brief intro into who you are, where you're at? I know you've got a massive team, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am located just outside of Dallas. Our main hub is about 30 minutes outside of Dallas. We're in Frisco, Texas, and we have a team that consists of about 22 agents and a fairly good sized success team. We have 8 people on our success team. And so last year, we did about 600 units, which equated to about 200 million in sales. And so it's every day is a new adventure for us. And we service all around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We do Dallas, the North, which is Frisco area. And we also have agents in the Fort Worth area. So we have this nice little triangle and are able to service the entire Metroplex with that.
Are you an expansion team, or do all of your agents work out of the same brokerage right now?
We are all out of the same brokerage, but we have small, we call them pods in Dallas and Fort Worth. So no official expansion. We are just covering the Metroplex.
Amazing. Those are huge numbers. So thanks so much.
How do the pods work? So do you have a team leader that leads each?
So we have team lead. We have senior agents that act as the pod leaders, and we have agents underneath each of our pod leaders. And that just helps because as much as I would love to be able to facilitate and help and do every agent on our team, when everybody calls at the same time, it's virtually impossible. So our pod leaders help assist those agents on a day-to-day basis with questions, and we have 5 to 7 people in each pod, and that just helps keep everyone, it gives everyone a go-to, helps create a little bit more intimacy, and they're able to spend a little bit of time and really get to know the agents in their pod and serve as leaders of those pods.
That's very cool. I've never heard of that model before. It's a great way to give the agents on your team more support, and a great way to give, I guess, those high producing agents, those agents that are ready for leadership, the next opportunity, so they don't leave and go out on their own. So that's very cool.
It creates a great support system and everybody wins.
Yeah, for sure. Just so everyone knows, we were talking off air here a second ago. We love getting Americans on the podcast because you guys think so big. Up in Canada, to run a team that does 600 units a year is extremely rare. So I think that's huge. And you haven't been in the business for all that long. I was reading your bio. You've been in for about 15 years. What was the process to go from new agent to building out this massive ecosystem that does so many units a year?
So it wasn't intentional. I did not start off and go, hey, I want to have a really big team that is, super successful with great agents. It all started off very organically, and it started off with me as an independent agent. And when I started, and the team leader at our market center said, how many units do you want to do? I said, I don't know. Is 24 a good number? I don't know. And she said, that's a good number. That's 2 a month. You could do that. And I said, okay, that's what I'm going to write down on my goals, 24. And so I took that 24 and it was very organic, and it was all in the service and making sure that people understood what they were doing and helping them and really being an advocate through the process. It was taking them from start to finish, helping explain everything, and having a sense of urgency in providing service to clients. And that led to referral after referral after referral. And at which point I said, whoa, I can't. And it didn't happen overnight. Trust me, it was a few years in the making. And all of a sudden I needed an assistant and I needed a buyer's agent. And one of the first things that I did in the very beginning was, when I very first started and said I want to do 24, I understood the leverage piece. And I knew that I did not want to be doing a I don't even know if they call it a green sheet anymore, but I didn't want to be doing the back end paperwork of the closing side of it. When I did get a contract, I wanted to be able to fulfill clients' needs in negotiations, writing contracts, showing properties, selling properties, whatever that was. And so before I even had my first closing, I enlisted the help of a transaction coordinator. And that really leveraged my time. So I wasn't doing green sheets. I wasn't worrying about dotting the I's and crossing the T's on the closing side of things. I was able to jump into service and the being able to spend more time with clients and having our coordinator worry about facilitating everything on the back end. So that was a huge leverage piece in the beginning. And I paid a couple $100 per transaction. It was well worth it. I didn't have to worry about the green sheets. And then I realized that I needed an assistant because there were other things on the front end that I was really needing help with, communication and just helping facilitate and schedule inspections and showings and all of that. So I got an assistant. And after, I guess, about a year or two of having an assistant, I went into seeking the help of a buyer's agent. And then it just all grew and kind of exploded from there. And it was very organic. It was never, was it, my goal is to have 22 people and this and that. It's just, we've grown and we've continued to grow year over year. And our goal, obviously our goals are different now than they were then. Back then it was all about, what is going to be the best for the client. Now my goal, my personal, and my husband works on the team as well. And we work together, and our goal is to, how do we fulfill the success of every one of our agents, who in turn will fulfill the success and help the clients like we used to do. So our agents are our focus, and we want our agents' focus to be our clients' focus.
That was going to be my next question, but you kind of answered it there. You're very customer service focused. I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Now brought on all these other agents, how do you ensure they provide your clients or the clients of your team the same level of customer service that you at one point in time provided your clients?
So it's a lot of training, and it's a lot of working with those agents to help provide them that knowledge and help them provide that experience to the clients. So there's a lot of training. We do weekly meetings. We do a weekly team meeting where our success team, all of our agents attend, and it's market updates, what's happening, and also what we're seeing in the market overall. So we're all on the same page. And one of the things that we teach our team is we're selective about who joins the team, because we're very high-minded, customer-focused, and goal-oriented. And we want to make sure that we're all moving at the same pace together, because if we're having to try and drag people with us, that's going to slow everyone down. So all of us moving at the same pace is really important, and having like-minded individuals that move at that pace. And so our Tuesday meetings they're about just what's happening, what do we need to focus on, what is our message this week to our clients, and mindset, because mindset matters more than anything. And it's that mindset that's going to help people improve and get through the day-to-day, because real estate, it's not a cakewalk. Every day is a new adventure, and you have different personalities, different problems. And so how do we navigate through that successfully? So on Tuesdays, we're talking about all those things and then some. And then on Fridays, we have a meeting that focuses 100% on our agents. And it's an agent mastermind. And it's, what are we seeing in contracts? What verbiage do we need to add? What are we seeing that are going to help us win offers? What are we seeing? Why are we losing offers? How do we overcome that? And we're talking about all of those things to help our agents really build and successfully navigate through that. And then after our agent mastermind is our success team mastermind, where as a success team, are we allowing the agents to utilize the leverage of the team to build and grow their business? And what else can we do to provide them that service? And how do we streamline our systems and our models? And every week it's always a work in progress. We're never done, because we're real estate's changing and we have to be able to pivot and shift very quickly. And so these meetings keep us all on the same page. It sounds like a lot of meetings, but it's every meeting. Actually, we're not just talking about it. We're making the changes immediately and making those changes happen. And so it's not just something that we're talking through. We're actually, they're very action oriented.
That is precisely why I'm sure you spend a lot of time on the hiring process. If you have to drag someone, they're not going to show up to those meetings, or they're not going to be fully engaged when they get there.
Correct.
Awesome. Now, Christie, I wanted to kind of loop back a little bit. So are you still in production yourself?
It's very rare. Not a lot. Every once in a while, I'll work with a longtime client or a family friend, but we take, regardless if it's a $500,000 house or a $5 million house, we want that opportunity to go to our agents because that's why they joined. They want to be successful. They don't want a team leader who's cherry picking the best opportunities off the top and taking it away from them. So we want to build them, build their businesses and build their success. So that's what we're here for.
I think that's such an amazing mission. And both Mike and I are part of a team as well, where our team leader doesn't really trade anymore. So I was curious to see what your background was. When did you stop trading? When was the moment that you realized that you wanted to just focus on actually building your agents as opposed to doing the real estate transaction?
It was very hard because I had a very limiting belief that nobody could do it better than me. And it was a very awkward time because I thought, oh my gosh, our clients are never going to go for this. Nobody can do it better than me. And this is going to be really difficult. But as I started thinking through it, it's not me. It's not me. It's not about me. It's about the systems and the process and the technique and the service that we provide. And if I can take those systems and those processes and that service, and I can train our agents on that, then they can go out and they can do it better than me. And so that was a very eye-opening experience because I'm only one person and I can only do so much. And so that's how our buyer's agents came to be. And then I did listings for a very long time, and with the help of a couple of assistants. And then I realized that we could do a whole lot more if we had listing agents that were out and I was helping them grow, and I could give people a lot more opportunity if I got rid of that limiting belief. And so it took a minute, but we've been doing it for years and people love our agents. And if somebody says, I only want to work with Christie, I typically will get on the phone with them and help them understand that it's not me you want. It's the systems and the processes and the experience that I've trained our lead agent on, or whomever it is, our specialist on. And that's what they're looking for. And that's why they trust our team. And that's why that name is a known name in our area, because of that service and that skill and that experience. And I always tell them, I'm right here and I'm overseeing all of it, and we're not going to let you fall. You're in great hands.
I love that because it creates a hierarchy within your organization that allows you to obviously position the best leaders in the best ways possible and specialize in what they're good at. So whether it's the buy side or the listing side, right?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned your success team. Now, I picked up on it as that's your like administrators, your operations. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I love correct. That. I love that name because it's so true. I think, looking at the behind the scenes of many of the real estate teams, a lot of the drivers are the ops. So currently, who exists in your success team?
So we have a listing coordinator. We have a couple of marketing folks that work on the marketing side and social media. We have an interior designer that does all the staging for our properties. We have a field service manager. We have a photographer. We have an ops manager and 3 transaction coordinators. So we actually have more than 8. So
That's awesome. And that's how you guys can get to the 600 transactions a year,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I love that. Now, obviously, Keller Williams is a company with a big vision, and we have big visions for ourselves. But Christie, would you be willing to share, some of the next steps that you and your team are taking, whether it's, getting to 1,000 transactions or whatever goals you have in mind for yourself?
You must have read my mind, because we do have 1,000 all over everything. That is our next big goal, is 1,000. And as going through, it's been a crazy year. But our next goal is 1,000. And so we're looking at hiring on quite a few more agents to help us reach that goal. Because one of the things that we've learned is it's about the people, and it's about the hiring and who you get into business with. And we can teach systems, we can teach checklist, but you can't teach culture, right? You can't teach if they're motivated. I can't motivate somebody. I can't teach that. That comes from within. I can't teach somebody integrity. That comes from within. But I can teach someone how to work with clients. I can teach someone how to write a contract. I can teach someone how to overcome objections, but I can't teach drive, motivation, integrity, and just culture overall. And so that's where we try and that's where we get to be selective as a team. And we're not just hiring able bodies. We're not looking for somebody who can go out. We're not looking for the car salesman who can go out and sell 20 cars a day. We're looking for people who truly have clients' best interest in mind. Who want to go out there and do the right thing and end up with the right results overall.
When that person enters your world that has a certain degree of motivation and it's a good cultural fit for your organization, what lead generation systems do you have in place for them so they can build their business out within your system?
So we get tons of leads every month. And when they come into our world, we don't just immediately throw them out there and give them leads, because what happens is then they're practicing on our clients. And our clients are calling us for our expertise. And I don't want somebody practicing on a client. So they have to earn that opportunity. They have to earn that right. So when an agent comes on, they're not immediately going to get leads until they prove themselves. Now, once they've proved themselves by generating activity on their own, they're taking certain steps, getting through certain milestones that we have in place on the team, then they can earn that right. And they can jump in and start calling. And even then it's very, it's very monitored by our pod leaders. It's monitored by my husband and I to make sure that we have the best people in place taking care of our clients.
And what does that look like? You mentioned earning the opportunity. So what are, I guess, some standards or expectations that you've set around like what an agent might have to do in order to kind of buy into those things?
So we have, when they come on, there's activities and training videos and little tests, I guess you could say, that they have to get through successfully. And they have to be able to successfully sit down and present a contract. Because what happens when somebody says, I want to write a contract, and they look at them like a deer in headlights? Oh, I haven't done that yet. So there's all kinds of different training milestones that we have in place to make sure that when a client does step into their world, that they are 100% set up for success to go through that experience with them.
So when an agent joins your team after they develop the skills to communicate with clients, write up a contract, are the majority of the leads coming from the team, or is the expectation that the agent will generate their own leads also?
We baby our agents, it all comes from the team. So
I'm going to move to Texas soon.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. We got your back.
House prices are way more appealing in Texas than in Toronto. So
I don't know. They're going up very quickly right now.
Well, Christie, our average price point is $1 million.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I don't know if you guys will
But
reach
we're
that
half
yet.
that.
Yeah.
So what was your, I
That's
love
awesome.
what you guys have going on down there. We're very lead generation focused, both the team and our agents. What advice would you give to me to, at some point in time, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, have a business where all of my agents' leads can be derived from the team?
So it takes grit, and it takes, I mean, there is no, people ask all the time how, okay, I have a daughter and I have an older son, and they said, how did y'all balance all of that? Well, number one, you have to learn how to hire the right people. You have to trust that you're not the only one that can do it well, that you have to trust in other people, and you have to provide them the leeway to do the things. And they might not do it the same as you, but the end result will be the same or better. And there is no balance. And you have to understand that people go, oh, I want to be you. I want to be in your shoes because you're doing all of these things. But sometimes be careful what you wish for, and make sure that, because when you build a big business, you also have to feed a big business. And so being able to time block very well is very, very important. And I love what we do. But balance, being able to, when you hire the right people, it creates a leverage opportunity for you, and it helps you balance things. So I don't leave at 5 o'clock. There's days that we may work until 10 or 11 o'clock at night, depending on what we have going on, depending on, what needs to happen. What do we need to implement? What do we need to change? But then having that leverage and that opportunity also means that I can leave for a couple of days and take a little bit of a breather. It doesn't mean I don't take phone calls, but it's not necessarily balanced where, oh, I'm out of here at 5 o'clock because I have a team to take care of all this. You have to learn how to not manage people, but lead people. And you have to understand that it's reinvesting in your team that's going to build that success. And so sometimes what I see are teams that go down the wrong road. They go down a path of, it's about me, 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 me. And, oh, look what I've got, look what I've got, look what I've got. Whereas your mindset has to be, it's not about me. I'm here to support every single person on the team. I work for them. They don't work for me. And when somebody has that kind of mindset shift, it makes the world of difference, because it makes people want to come into your world. It makes people want to do better, just building the systems, building the things that are going to help improve their lives and make their lives easier is what it's about.
Is that a mindset you developed over time, or were you born with that?
I was not born with that. Are you kidding me?
I imagine as a single agent getting into the business, I think all of us are naturally pretty, I don't know, selfish is the word, but self-centered. I thought only about myself.
Did you hear me say nobody could do it better than I could? Are you kidding?
Mm-hmm.
That this is all failing forward. It's all learning and experiencing, and how do I do it better? How I really messed that up, and so how do I turn this around, and how do I learn from this and grow from it? And that's the mindset you have to have, because there's always going to be, things are going to happen. But when you don't look at it as a failure and you look at it as an opportunity, that's where those stepping stones come in. And that's where you grow and you go, okay, take it, turn it around and keep moving forward. Don't let this stop you, and grow from it. What experience did I get from that?
Yeah, I imagine that's, for someone like yourself, why the passion has existed for 15 years.
Well, I keep having to keep it entertaining and change things up. And so, yes, but like I said, this is real estate. It's always a new day. So something always new happening and challenging. And so it's never boring.
I thought you were gonna ask a question. Okay, so so now with 22 agents, I don't know if I got an answer to this. So 1,000 units is your next big goal, right? As a team, are you guys looking to expand into other markets or looking to kind of keep that local feel as for right now?
We are looking at expanding into other markets right now. We want to really master where we're at and get our agent count up. And once we master where we're at, you'd think we'd have it mastered by now, but we're always a work in progress. But we want to get our agent count up, and then we'll look at moving into other areas.
Could you, just my own personal interest, the pod leader role, what does that look like? What does someone need to do to become a pod leader? And
well, they have to. So we are fortunate in the sense that a lot of teams have very high turnover with agents. And we're always looking for ways to create leadership opportunities and create opportunities that are going to help grow them and what they're looking at doing. And so we've had agents who have been with us we had one agent with us for 10 years. She's since retired, but 7 years, 5 years, just we've got longevity on the team. And that is where that's who our pod leaders are. People who do a high amount of volume, who have been with us for a number of years. And that's who we want. That's the culture in our team. And that's who we want in those pod leader positions, helping carry that forward to our agents who might not have been with us as long or might be newer to the team. And that's what helps instill that culture, those models, and those systems. Because if somebody's going this way, our pod leaders will gently guide them and get them back on track and going forward. I always tell people, as a pod leader, as an agent, whether you're on a team or whatever it is, your job is to facilitate one of the biggest transactions of people's lives. And you almost have to be a project manager to do that. And so you have to sit in the train conductor seat because you've got a lot of little trains. What do you call them? Totally losing my train of thought, but the little train cars behind you. And if you are not sitting in that conductor seat and managing control of that, and you let a client sit in the conductor seat, you're going to lose control of your train, right? You're going to end up going down the wrong tracks. Things are going to get out of control. You're going to be hanging on the caboose for dear life. So as an agent, what we try and teach our pod leaders and for them to pass on is to always maintain control. How do you maintain control? Communication. You don't have to know everything. Your job isn't to be an encyclopedia. Your job is to be a facilitator and to communicate effectively and be service oriented and service minded and stay in that conductor seat, because you don't want your clients coming up there and pushing you out of the way and taking control, because that's where things go astray. And that's what our pod leaders, that's what our team is all about, is that service and communication and staying in the conductor seat.
I think that's so important. I love how you're creating opportunities within your world. I think we were talking, we had Chris Suarez on one of our episodes, if you know Chris Suarez.
Yes.
And we were just chatting about the fact when you're bringing people into your world, you have to keep expanding your world. Otherwise, they're within your bubble and their bubble is going to keep expanding. And then eventually one day they're going to outgrow you and then choose to leave, right? But I think you're creating a retention piece in a way by creating the pod leaders and different opportunities within your world. And it also establishes a communication tree. So you obviously, as we talked about before, don't have to be agent facing at all times, right, but instead communicate with the pod leaders who then communicate down to your agents. Is that right?
Right. Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
What other kind of opportunities do you have for your agents as they, grow in your network?
So there's different opportunities that we have the pod leaders, and there's different referral opportunities and different client-based opportunities. There's agents that I have that I'll send my personal referrals to, just depending on who they are. So we're always growing, looking at things, and just trying to help everybody increase the bottom line. investment opportunities, just all kinds of stuff.
And these pod leaders, they derive the majority of their income through transacting in their own deals? Is it through being a pod leader?
They get some, it depends on where we've got it's the structure would take forever to go through, but they do a majority of their stuff through their transactions, through their leads. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's super interesting setup that I've never heard of anyone doing before.
Well, it's working for right now, so we'll see.
And what happens? So you get a rock star pod leader in there that blows the roof off the place. Do you guys have a next opportunity for them yet, or?
So we do have different. I don't want to go into all of it, but yes, we do. Yeah. We do have other opportunities for them. It's investment opportunities. It's all kinds of stuff for them, just to help them, because after 10 years of doing the same thing over and over and over, you've got to have some growth, and you can't have a lid on it. So yeah, there are other opportunities in there. For sure.
And I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. I know you mentioned mindset. I think it's absolutely huge in this business.
Yes.
What are some of the things you teach your agents about mindset, and why is that important?
So I think the biggest thing is, and it's really funny, on our Monday meetings, I always say, make it a great day. And when you step out of bed in the morning, you have a choice. You can either step out of bed and say, I'm achy and I'm groggy, and carry that with you the rest of the day. Or you can step out of bed and say, you know what, in spite of everything, I am going to make today a great day. And it sounds so elementary and so just ridiculous sometimes, but it truly makes a difference, because what you step out of bed with and what you carry forward for the day is going to carry with you the rest of the day. And when you have a good energy and an excited energy, that's what you draw. And when you have a crummy negative energy, on the flip side, that's also what you draw. And so if you want to draw really crabby people, and if you want bad things to happen to you, then step out of bed with that negative mindset. If you want to draw good people and good things to you, then step out of bed and make it a great day every day. And so it's about the wins, and it's focusing on the wins, and it's not focusing on a loss or a no or a failure, because this is real estate. Every no is closer to a yes, right? And that's the way you have to look at it. So it's the way you look at things, the way you set up your mindset, and just making it a great day every day. We got the little white fuzzy lambskin rugs for all of our agents, and told them to put it next to their bed. So every day when they step out of bed, rub your little toes in that little lambskin rug, and remember, make it a great day. Let that be your reminder every day when you step out of bed.
That's amazing. That's what I was going to ask you. Do you have a mindset routine you go through every single morning? So I guess that's it. You wake up and rub your toes through the lambskin.
Rub your toes in the little lambskin rug. Let that be your reminder to make it a great day.
That's super cool. I'm going to the store after this.
That's great.
Now, Christie, so just looking through your bio and getting to know a little bit more about you through this podcast, you're the #1 luxury agent in your region. Is that right?
That's correct.
So first off, I guess I have a couple questions here. So did you start off as a luxury agent, or how did you develop into the luxury market over time?
No, it just, again, it comes organically. So my very first house I sold was a $48,000 house. So I did not step into luxury right out of the gate, but I sold that little $48,000 house, I think 5 times. And what happens is, when you start in a lower price point, those lower price points are bread and butter, right? That is our everyday bread and butter. Those are the people that we're helping, we're doing business with, they're trusting us. We are pouring into them just as we would anyone else. And then what happens is, over time, that $200,000 buyer becomes a $500,000 buyer, who becomes a $1 million buyer. And that's how we got into the luxury market. It was by helping everyone that we could and pouring into them just as we would anyone else. And they became a move-up buyer, who became a move-up buyer, who became a move-up buyer. And next thing you know, we're #1 luxury agent because we've just continuously helped people, and we haven't treated our $48,000 home any differently than we would our $48 million home. It's all about the service and helping people. And that's, again, it's mindset. You know, agents who succeed at a high level are persistent, they're dedicated, they're knowledgeable, and consistent in their business. And we always, I think one of the big things is a lot of times agents look for excuses. I can't do that because of this. I can't do that because of this. And when you look for ways to say yes, and I love this saying, yes, we have no bananas. And I love that because sometimes you have to say, why, yes, we have no bananas. But how are you? Look for ways to say yes. Don't say, yeah, no, we can't do that. Oh, yes, we can. And this is how. It might not be exactly what they wanted, but we're finding ways to say yes. We're seeking that opportunity, and we're looking at ways to help people reach their dream, reach their goal, make that transition, whatever it may be.
Kind of on that note of client service and the client experience and treating every transaction like it's $1 million listing, what kind of things do you do in the client experience process that create that power of moments feeling? If you've read the book by Chip and Dan Heath, the power of moments, creating an experience like no other, that clients keep coming back to you every single time.
So it's really you have to be able to, an agent has to be able to prioritize every day and time block. And we want our agents to time block every day for 3 hours. And that time block is new business, prospects that we're following up with, and existing business. And it's that communication. Hi, this is Christie. I know that you are under contract right now, and we just got through we have an option period here in Texas. You might not, but we just got through our option period, which is the due diligence time frame. And I just wanted to check in, let you know that everything's looking good. I don't have anything new to provide you today, but I just wanted to make sure you don't have any questions and let you know what's happening next. And those are the things that every day when you're following up with clients, and not every day that you need to call someone, but keeping them in the know and setting those expectations and really understanding their why makes such a huge difference. And understanding ways to say yes, understanding time blocking, and really making every day very purposeful and intentional. It matters. All of that matters.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Mike, do you have any further questions?
I think we've covered a lot of it. I can understand why you do generate so many referrals. Setting expectations with people and keeping in touch with them, not only when you're looking for that house or when you're looking to sell someone's house, but after the transaction's already been completed, is huge.
Yes.
Sounds like your agents have a lot of touch points with their clients.
A lot. We have very extensive campaigns and activities, and every day it itemizes it all out for each and every agent. This is who you need to call. This is what you need to touch on. Here's an email. Here's your talking points. And it walks them right through it each and every day.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Is that something that you as a team developed, or like your success team created?
Yes, that's what we're constantly adding to. And all those meetings, we're constantly changing, adding, taking away. Is it working? Is it not working? And correcting it on the fly as we go. I shouldn't say correcting. I should say improving every week.
It's an opportunity, right?
Absolutely. Every growth opportunity. Yes. I
love that. Well, Christie, you've brought so much value today. We are super excited to be on the phone with you. And our team, we do about 300 transactions, so we're halfway to where you guys have reached your goal. And we're excited to see your growth over the next couple of years and see you hit that he hit the 1,000 unit mark. I think that's super exciting. Now we just have one final question that we ask all our guests. The question is, who do you know that we should have on this podcast?
Oh my goodness. Have you had Kenny Klaus from Arizona?
Don't think so, no.
He's a good one.
Okay. Awesome. We'll have to get him on the podcast. I just wrote his name down. Well, thanks so much, Christie, for your time. I know your time is highly valuable. We're super excited to be chatting with you. And where can people reach you if they want to get in touch?
So they can call us, text us, look us up, 469-951-9588, or go to cannonteamhomes.com.
Awesome. We'll put the link in the bio down below.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Christie. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Thanks for having me.
Every day I'm hustling.